Hello there, welcome to UBC News Tonight live from the Nile Avenue. My name is Sharon Chomdisha. Let's take a look at our headlines today. In UBC News Tonight, NTV reporter Edward Mohomuze dies in car crash. Vice President Alupo advises leaders on representation of government for better service delivery. Still to come, 200 FDC and NUP supporters defect to NRM in Ankole. And lastly, government asked to support women's business startups. In UBC News Tonight, Vice President Major Jessica Alupo has commended the Manifesto Implementation Unit for programs on engaging different stakeholders in the implementation of the NRM Manifesto. Vice President Alupo made the remarks at a retreat of district leaders of Northern Uganda at the National Leadership Institute, Chankwanzi. The Director Manifesto Implementation Unit Office of the President, Willis Bashaha, said that the hybrid contracting framework has affected areas of health centers and seed schools with contractors abandoning work. Northern Uganda district leaders have completed a retreat organized by the Manifesto Implementation Unit with a call of monitoring government programs for proper service delivery. The Vice President, Major Jessica Alupo, commended district leaders for their campaign against corruption with the recent recovery of parish development model funds.
We should endeavor to continue fighting corruption so that the intended beneficiaries of programs of government services benefit from what government has planned for them. It is an area which has remained sticking at the local government level, at the central government level, at the level of technical people, at the level of politicians. But it's an area where we need to resolve and say, as per the principle of NRM of zero tolerance to corruption, let's put it on the ground.
The Vice President asked the local leaders to continue speaking for government on occasions and sensitize the masses about government programs on different channels for proper implementation of the NRM Manifesto 2021-2026.
And I would like to encourage you to continue being on the radio to articulate programs of government, progress of implementation of the manifesto. I would like to appeal to Ndugu Bashasha to, on a case-by-case basis, avail these officers of the district information for dissemination to public, so that they speak from an informed point of view with both the statistics but also other messages.
Alupo advised district leaders to desist from absenteeism from their districts despite challenges.
That where we have been assigned to be, let's be there for the sake of the people. However hard and difficult it is, let's be there for the sake of the people. Because you are the pillars through which government messages reach the people. And you are actually the ones who help the people, who guide the people about the history of the country as you speak to them.
The Director Manifesto Implementation Unit, Office of the President, Willis Bashasha, echoed a challenge of stalling projects and asked for more intervention by government.
The first one has been the hybrid contracting framework. This is where one contractor is always given more than almost 6 contracts, and this has affected areas of the Health Center 3 policy, where we pledged we should have a Health Center 3 per sub-county, and also the seed schools. These are World Bank funded projects, and from the information that was coming through was that this is the negotiation that was agreed on and even taken to cabinet for ratification.
The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, General David Kasura Chomukama, said the ministry's focus is to import more tractors to increase production.
We have committed ourselves to tractorization, and as you've heard, I think we have imported several tractors. Already we have distributed more than 200 tractors to various people, to various farmer groups. We are importing more because mechanization is the way to go. Appropriate mechanization.
Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
In more stories, the Prime Minister Robinah Nabbanja has assured the people of Toro that the government is doing all it takes to have the Toro phosphate factory operational. Now, Nabbanja made the assurance today while presiding over a fundraising drive organized by the Toro Municipality Member of Parliament Apollo Yedi Ofono and family to help women, market vendors and also raise funds for the church.
Premier Robinah Nabbanja has told hundreds of Tororo residents that she has already met the head of state about the fertilizer factory and government is considering a joint venture partnership.
Yesterday we had a meeting with the president and the president is very categorical. We have to make sure that that factory goes back to its functional status. We have attracted other investors from UAE, and those people want to co-invest with the current investor, and that will be function again.
Nabbanja assured Ugandans that the government program of parish development model must succeed and asked the public to report any issues affecting the implementation of the program for immediate action.
Anybody who doesn't know about PDM, if there are issues, we shall handle those issues, and PDM must succeed. If there are parishes which have not got money, we are going to work around the clock and make sure that they get the money.
Nabbanja supported women vendors with 20 million shillings as seed capital and asked them to make proper use of the funds.
Professor
The family of late Mzee Ofono launched a book in his memory and contributed 15 million shillings towards church construction.
Honorable Prime Minister has already signed. You can sign.
Today, as a family, we are contributing in two ways. The first one is in honor of our father. We have contributed, we are going to contribute 10 million towards the construction of the church in memory of our father and all that he did as a Christian, committed, and the developments he did in the church. And on behalf of our mother, we are contributing 5 million because our mother mobilized communities, mobilized women to look at the ambience and the activities in the church.
The Prime Minister bought President Yoweri Museveni's portrait amounting to shillings 2 million, while her portrait was bought at 1.8 million by Ofono's family. The fundraising drive was graced by the State Minister for Defense, Jacob Oboth, Presidential Advisor Odrek Rabuogo, members of Parliament, NRM Electoral Commission Chairperson Professor Tango Doi, and local leaders, among others. Jethro Kasaiji, UBC News.
The business community at the Uganda-DRC border of Mpondwe in Kasese district have appealed to government to expedite bilateral talks to return the lucrative smoked fish business on the Ugandan side, which they say has affected transported trade and revenue collection at the Mpondwe border. According to the traders, the youth, women who used to work in the fish market before it was relocated to the DRC soils have remained jobless during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, in this report, the aggrieved business community presented the concerns to the first Prime Minister and Minister for East African Community Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, during her visit to the border to assess the situation. Let's have the report.
Government of Uganda has invested billions of shillings in constructing a one-stop border post and a market to facilitate the smooth running of business at Mpondwe border in western Uganda. During and after the COVID-19 pandemic, business here has never returned to normalcy, especially for those in the fish export business to the DRC. According to the traders, before the market was shifted to the Democratic Republic of Congo, most women and youth who used to offload the fish have remained jobless due to the high taxation imposed on fish exports. A batch of traders that can afford trading on the DRC market where the tax regime is friendly have shunned trading on the Ugandan soils, hence leaving the locals unemployed.
The incentives we are talking about is putting low tax rates to the traders such that they are not scared away by bringing their fish here in Uganda. Southern Sudanese, the Kenyans and Tanzanians want to do business here in Uganda, but because our taxes are very high, they end up in Congo where taxes are relatively low.
The Mayor Mpondwe Lubiriha Town Council Sylvester Mapozi says ever since the construction and completion of the state-of-the-art Mpondwe Lubiriha market by government, no serious business has come to the facility.
We have shared our issues. However, these same issues have been shared with. We presented a report before the president about the same issue, which we are waiting response to. We have hosted the Minister of Trade, the Minister of Local Government here, and presented the same issues. It is our hope that with those requests, plus what we have presented today, we should get a response that will be promising and bringing our people to normal. Otherwise, we are looking forward to that, and it is my fear as a leader that if the fish is not back into this market, we may have these structures not utilized.
The State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Godfrey Kabyanga, says something needs to be done for traders dealing in fish to boost their economic status.
To really mediate, and we see that the fish market comes in. For us, in our own efforts, we have at least convinced the cattle market to do what? To come. But we are still failing to have the fish market back, and it is the biggest market. And it needs you because it involves foreign powers, foreign players. But the cattle market was local, that's why we managed it.
In response to the concerns raised by traders at Mpondwe border, the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister in charge of East African Community Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, expressed government commitment towards rectifying the trade wrangles in the fish export business to the DRC. Kadaga also pledged resolving issues of heavy taxation on goods and services.
Now, the Uganda government, partnering with the government of France, has embarked on a campaign drive to mobilize over 194 billion to construct a bulky water project to Rubanda and Kisoro districts. The project will require hybrid financing where the government of Uganda will have to raise some money while the rest of the balance will be raised in form of a grant but also borrowing from international financial institutions.
Rwanda and Gisoro are among the districts in Kigezi sub-region that are characterized by a rugged mountainous terrain. This topography has made access to clean water difficult for people living in the hills. This calls for endurance on steep slopes to fetch water down the valleys.
First and foremost, you realize that our place is hilly. The nearest fetching water is from down the valley. When we were young, we would actually carry food to go and fetch water. You would move a distance of not less than 3 to 5 kilometers to fetch water.
Despite the challenges involved in running down the valleys to fetch water, it's not safe either. They share the water bodies with domestic or wild animals.
In Kisoro, in Rwanda, some areas you find the animals are sharing the water with community members.
Asante sana.
In a bid to solve all these clean water accessibility challenges, the government of Uganda, working together with the government of France, are in a process of raising over 194 billion to extend clean piped water to these districts. The required funds will come in form of a hybrid, where the government of Uganda will have to foot part of this money from its budget, while some monies will come as grant, but also as a loan.
And we do have hope that we shall soon reach what we call technically financial closure for the project. So government is committed to implementing these projects, and it is pushing for mobilization of resources, and there is no reason it would have invested some money in the designs if it was not committed to make sure that the project reaches its logical conclusion.
Now that we have launched the design, we, after Ministry of Finance has approved funding, we hope that we shall be able to start construction, not this financial year, but hopefully next financial year, when everything has been approved by the Ministry of Finance.
This bulky water project design that has been launched in Rubanda will see over 529 villages from both Rubanda and Gisoro districts benefiting accessing clean water.
People have to give in something that is land, and after all, our projects are good because after using the land, like digging the trenches and laying the pipes, we cover the soil and they go back and reuse their land. So there is no need for compensation.
The construction of this project is expected to kickstart next financial year, and clean water supply is expected after 3 years.
This project has come to rescue our people. I believe that the accessibility of safe water will increase up to 80 to 90%, given the distribution which they have presented to us. Now, the only thing which I'm doubtful about is the period when the project will kick off. But certainly from the conviction of the minister, the project will kick off next year.
Over 200 youth from the opposition parties Forum for Democratic Change (FDC) and National Unity Platform (NUP) in Ankole sub-region have crossed to the NRM party and ready to support General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, who they refer to as the light of the dream. Now, they were received by the National Vice Chairperson MK Movement Balam Barugahara at an event held in Bara City. Take a look.
Close to 200 former Forum for Democratic Change and National Unity Platform supporters in Ankole sub-region have crossed to the National Resistance Movement organization. The defectors were led by the former Forum for Democratic Change youth delegate for Kongere district, Kohas Ahimbisiwe.
I decided to join the MK movement for one or three things. One, MK is a nonsense man. Two, I know he's going to fight corruption. The way you see this scandal of the Mabati, that what is happening. I believe in MK movement, it is not going to happen.
Of course, they are misguided by opposition leaders. So they have been there supporting FDC and NUP. But today, willingly, they have come really to join MK movement.
At this event held in Mbara City, the MK Movement Vice Chairperson for Western Uganda, Balam Barugahara, received the team.
And we have warmly welcomed them to the movement, to the MK movement.
These youth are now looking at both employment and better future from the NRM party.
The reason why I came to the MK movement, it is one, I want MK to look into the youth. When he's saying that he's going to put his support in the youth, for example, when you go to Centenary Bank today, they will say, you will say that you want a loan. They will give you a loan, but they will say, do you have a land title? Do you have a land agreement? Absolutely, you as a youth, we don't have that. So we are saying, MK, if you are coming out as the next president, what you can do for us, it is one. We need to have that money without interest.
We don't have money. If they are targeting money, we do not have money. But if they want to work for the good of the country, if they want to be part of the struggle, let them join us. This is a sensible struggle. It is a struggle worth it to invest time in. It's not like the other struggles where you burn tires. We have never burnt a tire. And we always notify police wherever we are heading.
Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Leaders of Serere district in the Teso sub-region of eastern Uganda have been challenged to intensify the spread of the gospel against poverty to the masses. Now, Kitgum District Woman Member of Parliament Lilian Abe decries what she describes as selfishness by some leaders in Teso as an attitude she says needs to change. This she said during belated Women's Day celebrations in Serere, where State Minister for Fisheries urged fellow women from abandoning their responsibilities. Details follow.
It is a belated Women's Day celebrations in Serere district that has seen 3 women leaders each walk away with a motorcycle. This is an initiative by the area woman member of parliament, also State Minister for Fisheries, Helen Adoa. It is aimed at drumming up the gospel for women to engage in productive activities.
Women have decided to abandon their husbands because they are now weak. Women have decided to wake up very early in the morning. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 31 that a good woman wakes up very early to organize her family.
In doing this, acts of immorality, as decried amongst women, will be a thing of the past.
When a child is educated, their mother benefits more. I am told the children give mothers more money than their fathers. Now you are busy running around with other men, you leave your husband. Then tomorrow when a child gets educated, when this man suffers, it is you who will enjoy than the man.
To achieve this, it will take leaders to desist from being selfish. This was the message from Lilian Abe, the woman member of parliament for Kitgum district.
I want to request you for one thing. Let's continue working hard to push our young girls to school. I know that most of the family issues are left for women. And that is why I love Honorable Adoa, because she's always telling me our main focus is on women and empowering women. Yes.
Abe wants leaders to intensify the gospel against poverty in Teso sub-region.
When you have something good, keep it. If you are a good farmer, you have a good seed. You keep the seat. These MPs you have are your seat.
Other leaders present included Pingire County Legislator Fred Opolot, Serere County MP Emmanuel Omoding, Ngora County Legislator Juliet Achayo, and Gogonyo County Member of Parliament Derek Orone. Henry Okrut, UBC, Serere.
A Nation television journalist, Edward Muhumuza, has died in a car crash accident along Entebbe Expressway. The accident involved a Toyota Passo car he was driving, happened on Saturday morning at Mpala on the Entebbe Expressway. According to eyewitnesses' accounts, the deceased lost control of his vehicle at around 7 a.m. a few meters after the Mpala-Yunra toll gate as he was driving from Kampala towards Entebbe side. He veered off the road, the car jumped over to the trenches, flew into the sky and hit the huge signpost before rolling off to the steep, one of the eyewitnesses said. According to workmates, Muhumuza was driving to Nkumba University where he was pursuing a Bachelor's of Science degree in journalism and public relations. According to the police, Edward was driving to Entebbe along the Entebbe Expressway and was about to exit at the Mpala toll station where he suddenly lost control of his vehicle, crashing into barriers there. A tweet by Nation Group says NTV is saddened to announce the passing of our journalist, Edward Muhumuza, in a car accident. Our hearts go out to his family and friends. May his soul rest in eternal peace, the tweet said. A statement released by the Entebbe Expressway management indicated that the accident happened today morning at 7:30 a.m. We have registered a fatal accident today morning, 25th of March 2023 at around 7:30 a.m. involving one occupant who police identified as Mr. Muhumuza Edward, a staff of NTV Uganda, the statement reads. The occupant was exiting the expressway and was opposite, the Mpala toll station. Our intervention team, together with Entebbe police, have confirmed that the victim was at a high speed when he lost control of the vehicle. The statement further read. In more stories from that, we pray that the Lord strengthens nation media as well as the family and friends, because that's a big blow to the media fraternity in Uganda. Government continues to play a big role in rehabilitating former ADF rebel. The director of CMI, Major General James Birungi, was speaking to a delegation from the United Nations who visited the Peace and Security Reception Center, which was established by the President to accommodate the ADF returnees. Take a look.
The director of CMI, Major James Birungi, has said that UPDF and FADAC have played a big role in bringing sanity to Eastern DRC. He explained that the most of the fighters are young children who were captured and lured into negative activities.
I thought we were fighting with enemies. I didn't know that we are fighting kids.
And girls.
And girls. It is really very ashamed. When we hear of ADF, only realize when you encounter a force, you find you are only fighting with kids. And actually kids who don't know even why they are fighting.
He called upon the international players to come up and support in rehabilitation of the ex-combatants.
Meanwhile, there is this other way, of the hard way of ensuring that the enemy comes out of the bush. There should be the peaceful way to receive them, or both. As I don't know that, don't misinterpret me, because it also helps. You have to push them so that they can do what? Accept to come back home.
The coordinator of the Peace and Security Reception Center, Christopher Kibazanga, also requested for more support in ensuring that the already captured ex-rebels remain in a good condition.
First of all, to our president, that too simple, and we give you a budget. Do something and we take care of your children. What we are doing here is that we are trying to help the president to fulfill his manifesto, to secure the future of the young people. And this is what exactly we are doing with UPDF, securing the future of these young people. These younger people require rehabilitation. These younger people require education. These younger people require medical facilities. And at the same time, reintegration becomes a challenge because the ADF and the human trafficking is still alive and well in the country.
The head of Demobilization, Disarmament and Reintegration, Stefan Astron, committed support towards rehabilitating the captured juveniles, saying that they need psychosocial support.
We will, of course, make our deliberations and see what we can do through our programs and projects that we have in the region, and also using our good offices to see if it's possible to support this.
Jethro Kasaiji, UBC News.
Uganda National Students Association, UNSA, has vowed to run to court of law following the closure of their office on the directives of the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, Katie Lamaro. This comes at a time when the association recently suspended the NEC Executive Secretary, Cherukutu Tosken, due to the alleged mismanagement of the association funds.
Is also going to have
the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, Dr. Katie Lamaro, made a directive of the closure of the Uganda National Students Association offices, UNSA, situated in Kampala. The letter followed wrangles between UNSA NEC members and the NEC Executive Secretary, Cherukutu Tosken, on alleged mismanagement of the association funds. In a press conference held in Kyambogo, the Uganda National Students Association UNSA NEC leaders expressed their concerns following the closure of the association office.
A suspension of an employee should not cost the association. A suspension of an employee should not cause closure of our offices. But we ask the ministry to actually help us in investigations. We clearly want to know the audited reports of the previous subscriptions that came from student community.
The NEC leadership also raised concern for the closure of the association's office with a pending case in courts of law against the NEC Executive Secretary Cherukutu Toxin, whom they suspended from office recently.
Our message to the PS is we are requesting for a meeting to harmonize, but we also request we request the ministry and the rest of the agencies we work with to respect our constitution and to respect the decisions being taken by NEC.
Wonsa leaders also accused Cherukutu Toxin for smuggling some articles into the association's constitution in his favor.
He can't stay on a run. We really request him to, one, respond to our letters, but also come for a hearing. We have so far summoned him twice, and he hasn't responded.
Because we want clear accountability, and I know he's having all the files.
They have now called for President Intervention, who is also the association patron, or else to file a case in courts of law. Wonsa leadership had this to say about the ongoing issues in Kenya.
We youth are the majority that have been used to make the voice of others being heard. But I believe that we are using a wrong approach. I'm a student at Makerere University, and we have many Kenyan students who are studying there, even in Uganda. So any problem that affects Kenya affects Uganda as well.
The Uganda National Students Association, UNSA, is a students' organization recognized by the Act of Parliament that aims at serving all students of Uganda at the post-primary level education. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Government and the private sector have been urged to stop the narrative that women are only consumers of digital and technology, but to support them to be owners of content and to also be content creators to uplift their visibility in digital and technology industry. While speaking during the Women and Media Symposium 2023, the gender and social development expert Christine Butegwa said that only less than 5% of venture funding goes to women-led startups in digital and technology space. Take a look.
Women in Media and the Uganda Media Women Association have celebrated the Women's Day during this Women's Month through recognizing the long-serving ladies, women in leadership and mentors, women in innovation, women who have been resilient and investigative journalism.
It's going to take us 131 years from today to reach gender parity. But do we give up? No, we don't. We re-strategize.
Grow from not only reporting for the several media houses that employ us, but we own these platforms that we grow these brands.
Margaret Sentamo from Mama FM has served in the media for about 30 years. She was recognized for outstanding efforts and dedication.
We need to be intentional to bring on board the young people. And I think we've been trying to do that. And for that matter, I would like to thank each one of you, particularly the young people. Please come and fill these spaces.
Uganda Broadcasting Corporation's television news editor Nalongo Bukira Rose, Doreen Indezi, manager UBC Radio, and Hajat Rehema scooped awards from the category of long-serving ladies in the media. Sarah Mawerere from UBC Radio was recognized for mentoring young journalists. Gloria Lake Ashiro Adiki was awarded under the frontline reporting category and recognized for reports during the LRA insurgency in northern Uganda.
People have moved on, but when you have that passion, interest, mentorship in you to actually groom the upcoming, you make it.
Like reporting from Gulu, the LRA rebels have attacked Atiak and massacred presidents in Atiak. So that was my first story.
The celebrations focused on visibility of women in the media, in the technology and digital space, where experts recommend upholding the freedom and exposure plus digital human rights.
For example, the proportion of women in STEM-related occupations is only 15%. Women, therefore, have enormous barriers to becoming owners, decision makers and content creators in the digital space.
Online gender violence against women in media hinders their online reporting, hence self-censorship. There is no provision in law to counter online GBV.
Safety for female journalists therefore continues to be a major concern, and it silences women in the media, in public debate, where their stories, their perspectives, their expert knowledge are already underrepresented.
There is, however, a challenge of privacy and data protection in the use of technology and digital space.
An important journalist, know you're one of the key targets of the state. We have the Regulation of Interception of Communications Act that requires telecommunication companies to install software and hardware that enables easy and real-time interception of your communication. So be very careful with your data protection and privacy.
Other issues emphasized are to ensure economic empowerment for women in media. However, this requires them to change their mindset and allow diversification.
Much more to be done in terms of increased awareness creation on gender equality among media practitioners, increasing access to and use of
and change your mindset, and whatever opportunity or passion you have, you make some little money.
I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kampala.
Well, congratulations to all the women in media that got awarded yesterday. On the day Christians world over celebrated the Annunciation of the Virgin Mary, Namilyango Junior Boys School is celebrating success on several fronts. We have a detailed report by Sentemu John Bant as he reports.
With 31 days into Lent season, a celebration of the Annunciation of the Virgin Mary at Namilyango Junior Boys has coincided with honor towards belated education success for the 197 learners that sat and passed their primary living education examinations last year.
It would be so bad that after leading to God, that our children excel, they will fail to say thank you. So that's why we are here today. Say thank you, God, and God deserves the glory.
The Annunciation of the Blessed Virgin Mary is the announcement by Archangel Gabriel to Mary that she would conceive and bear a son through a virgin birth and become the mother of Jesus Christ. Father Ignatius Loyola was the main celebrant and opted to heap praise on the achievement of a sports facility that will enable the school produce a holistic child.
It opens for them many avenues, being active in their bodies, being active in their brain. So when you have such a playground put up for the pupils, it's one of the important aspects of a school that can make our children active in school, active in classes, active in every activity of the school. So to me, it's a very important aspect and the achievement the school is coming up with.
Namilyango Junior Boys School has, unlike other schools, celebrated the academic excellence with gratitude to teachers, especially those in the Department of English that topped the distinctions, followed by mathematics.
The residents and leaders of the Simbwa zone in Kansanga Machinji division have appealed to Kampala Capital City Authority to help them collect garbage, which has become a problem and is likely to cause cholera and other diseases. Residents made these remarks while embarking on cleaning the community in our Weyonje campaign.
The State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has saved over 7,000 people from being evicted from their ancestral land in Ntoroko district. Also saved from eviction are schools, health centers and other public utilities on this land. The minister stopped the eviction at an open meeting with all the affected persons at Chibuku Primary School. Residents alleged that landlords have been harassing.
Government ya wakitinisa President Museveni netugamba muruge Kibuku family ya late Ernest na Nyakairu izi ikale hano rundi abantu bakibuku muikale abe byabo government negenda kumara hano abengi balemere kuswera nibagamba turaswera mataka garaha turayombekera abantu.
Village leaders briefed the minister about the background of the area in question.
Zile miaka nyingi bazali wehu bait sango muntu naonza kutwala itaka lenu hawa kuduku town council.
Them came as miners because they were mining gypsum. So they got mining licenses. They never had authority titles. So they turned that into title where they were mining and they wanted to chase away people. So I thank the minister. I think that issue in Kibuku is resolved.
State Minister for Lands Dr. Samayenja sensitized the residents about their land rights. The minister ordered the area RDC and District Police Commander Toroko to stop the eviction and give protection to the people.
This is a law. This is a law. When you issue a title deed and there are people on that land, that title deed is null and void. Section 59(1)(a) of the Land Act. Ettaka eririko abantu is not available for allocation for titling by the land board. But it is allocated, it is null and void.
The minister also advised that the 4 families that are reportedly harassing the villagers will be deemed to be trespassers and will be arrested.
Started working now. You are not going to go and lodge a caveat. You are going to find the title cancelled. There will be no other title for these people. Cancelled. And I'm saying, people, you who are now heading the land boards will demarcate, submit a report to the land board and the titles be issued. We have the head of the MSOs here. Several RDC, LC5 chairman, MP, mujafuna copies zabino, etakaria mwe wanolino takaria mwe, tewali alibajako.
Jethro Kasaije, Jamil Sekaja for UBC News.
I beg to correct that was the story on the State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, who tried to restore and actually restored people's hopes after securing their land from alleged land grabbers in Chibuku Town Council. Now, this happened during Minister's visit to Ntoroko District, where he met over 13 villages that are made of Kibuku Town Council. Residents have been under threat of eviction, alleged landlords, and he has helped out. Moving on from that, the State Minister for Lower Education, Moriku Kaduchu, has ordered the closure of Mubende Public Model Primary School dormitories in Eastern Division Mubende Municipality with immediate effect. It is alleged that the school has been covering up acts of homosexuality, with 7 pupils confirmed to be victims of the vice. Now, the Residential Director Commissioner Mubende Municipality, Rosemary Biabashaija, confirmed that homosexuality exists in the area. Kaduchi dormitories were not secure, said that dormitories are not secure for children's health.
But we always open these doors.
You don't know. If you don't know, say you don't know. I don't know. Maybe 7 and they're all bathing there. If you are a parent, your child is here. And is a daughter with no bathrooms. You have a tough explanation to keep this dormitory open. It's a tough one. He picks a boy, goes and sleeps with him there.
So where is the bed of that one, the victim?
Where else will they
Mike.
sleeping?
Where is Mike?
Where?
Here.
What about the others?
What about the ones Come on.
What did you do? And they pay them for what? You clean once a week.
Money pay for school fees. Baby. Even the big girls have to bathe together.
Yes, they bathe together.
Commissioner, is that what is recommended in our schools? We have minimum standard that schools should adhere to. And once you want a boarding section, the commissioner that you see here, together with the technical people, they come and inspect. The way the building is supposed to look like, the dormitory, is not just an ordinary structure like that. You hear about the buildings getting burned, the way how the windows are put, the doors. If anything happens, God forbid, in the night, in those rooms, we lose all our children. You have seen the windows, you've seen one door, you've seen no ventilation, you've seen the congestion. That does not qualify what we call dormitory for school children. We have standards, we have requirements. So schools have to adhere to that. Having two bathrooms for over 100 girls. Are you happy with that?
The Archbishop Kampala, His Grace Paul Semwogerere, has asked the youth to be more concerned about observing values and norms that hold the church. He was speaking during Platinum Jubilee and 45 years of priesthood of Reverend Father Isidore Mbaleba, held at Bishop Kihanjire Secondary School in Bina Parish, Kampala.
The Director Emmaus Foundation, Reverend Father Isidore Mbaleba, has celebrated 45 years in priesthood during a function officiated by the Archbishop of Kampala, His Grace Paul Semwogerere. Paul Semwogerere appreciated Father Mbaleba for his service in the Catholic Church.
You must look at the old people, those who have achieved, and try to see that I will make it as that person made it. Soccer did not spoil him. I'm sure at that time many clubs were approaching him to take him to play soccer and get money. And maybe get wives. Who knows? But he stuck to what God was asking him to do, to become a priest and serve God and preach the word of God and serve God's people. And he's doing it well.
The 75-year-old Reverend Father Isidore Mbaleba hosted his Jubilee celebrations and 45 years in priesthood at Bishop Kihanjire Secondary School, Zira, in Bina Parish, near Kampala.
Which I started in 1965 and I graduated in 1978. Many of these grandchildren were not born, they were still in the crowds. Okay? I'm so happy they have organized my party very well and I'm very grateful and I encourage the young ones to come and join me now that I'm 75. I need replacement. That's my prayer. We are happy and Father, I'm sure in heaven is praying for us so that we can find money to help those students, especially who have the brains but they don't have the means.
Remy Kasule, a retired judge of the Supreme Court and a friend to Reverend Father Mbaleba, congratulated him for living exemplary life in serving God.
In your deeds, we pray the good Lord to give you more many years of living so that we continue to celebrate many more of your birthdays and may that way the legacy of Reverend Father John Scalabrini continue to inspire each and every one of us to strengthen our faith in the Lord and to continue serving humanity.
Pope Francis also congratulated Father Mbaleba for his service and also sent a message to Reverend Father Mbaleba that was delivered by Father Pius Malay. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
Now, over 52 million shillings in cash and 16 pledges and bags of cement have been mobilized towards the construction of St. John's Church Chitanda in Matuga, Wakiso district. The event was hosted by the Director Intelligence Uganda Police, Brigadier General Christopher Damulida, and in attendance was the Archbishop Church of Uganda, Right Reverend Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu.
The Christian community has this Saturday, 25th March 2023, converged at Chitanda in Matuga, Wakiso district to fundraise for the construction of St. John's Church of Uganda, Chitanda. The Archbishop Church of Uganda, Right Reverend Stephen Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, officiated the event.
Embalo njagadde nnyo kubanga mingi nnyo nange lena nja kuwayo kilo 10 eza sementi kuba embalo eyo ekuleeteramu okulowooza agamba kiddala.
Among the notable ones was Brigadier General Christopher Damulida, the Director Intelligence Uganda Police, who was the host.
Gaidde mwenna bannaddiini oba abantu abakkiriza mu Yesu mulokoke mukole ebikolo byaki ebyekisa nekya tuzimbe ennyumba yaki musula mutya mu nnyumba ezaakanga Diamond ng'ennyumba ya Mukama efaanana nga bwekola ki nga bwefaanana.
So once we have strong ministries and strong churches supported by the community, then the counseling will continue. So that's the reason why I appeal to all the young people in our communities to reach out to churches and support them, because the church has no business. The church only conducts services of prayers and worship. So the people who fund the churches, it is us.
The church we have, as you can see, is a little bit old. It was built in the 70s. It has served its time. The number of Christians is growing, and we thought it wise to contribute and build a new church. I'm so happy that people have contributed from the smallest to the biggest. We have had people contribute by bringing chicken, matoke, money, and I think it's a good beginning for this kind of fundraising.
The State Minister for Kampala Affairs, Kabuye Kyofatogabe, represented President Kaguta Museveni at the event.
President waffe ajja tuweerezayo obukadde 5 era naye abasabira 26 bw'aba akomyewo mukitegeere nti embeera weeri omutaka mu kiralo mwakola ki tengalo mwebaze parliamenti yaffe eyagambye kikafuwe kigwewa ewaabwe gasiya waabwe bamukolere eyo so si mu nsi yaffe. Amiina. N'olw'ensonga eyo muyimirire wamu gavumenti yaffe egambe ekimala kikola ki ate neebaza nnyo bakitaffe mu Katonda amadiini gonna gavuddeyo.
At least 52 million in cash and 60 pledges, respectively, were realized at the event.
It's 12, a church that can seat 1,000 people, and we are still working on the budget, but we think that we'll be able to raise the funds that are needed to put up that church.
The church construction is expected to be wrapped up in a period of not more than 2 to 3 years. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
Gomba West Woman Member of Parliament Robina Rakojo has launched a fundraising drive to facilitate construction of a maternity ward at Chai Health Centre 3 in Gomba District. The Speaker of Parliament Anita Net Among, who was represented by Bukanga North Legislator Nathan Byanyima, contributed 30 million Ugandan shillings to the initiative.
The Member of Parliament Gomba Gremen Robina Rakojo has launched a fundraising drive to facilitate the construction of a health centre to help improve livelihoods in the area. A maternity ward aimed at ensuring safety of mothers and their babies is planned for Chai Health Centre 3 in Gomba District.
Health Centre 3 akatanda ak'okuzaalirako kali aka bakyala abo babadde babonaabona. N'olwekyo nafuna ekirowoozo ne ŋŋamba lwaki siyamba bakyala bano.
This was disclosed at a fundraising event held at Chai Primary School, where members of parliament and area leaders participated and contributed generously.
nga maternity tebera mu kitanda kimwe beera mu bitanda ebiwera kubanga bazaala mu kaseera kawo bajja oluusi ne babeera bangi tetulaba nga tukakatako nga bamemba ba parliament kulaba nga tutuukirira.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, was represented by Bukanga North legislator Nathan Byanyima, who delivered her contribution of 30 million Uganda shillings. Maogola North MP Shatish Busherure and Kasiro County MP Elijah Okupa were among the MPs that contributed generously to the fundraising drive. Area women are commended Rakojo for the idea of a maternity ward that is expected to improve women and children's livelihoods. The legislators and clergy jointly condemned the Western culture fronting homosexuality in Uganda and appreciated Parliament for the recent bill. David Nasasira participated in the fundraising and appealed to legislators to provide a solution to rampant land grabbing and evictions in the cattle corridor.
abataddemu amaanyi gammwe okulaba nti ekintu kino kituukiridde.
Mwebale kuteera Robina Guremi. Jerry Khan. Jerry Khan. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Bang Jerry Khan with master. Those ones who say go to for you only. Mudava. Best good news I get you. When I go to the Muscari, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? It's serious you. What? Yeah? You stay with your needs. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy milk from a woman. And the woman refuses to give you enough meat. Show him that they don't joke with you.
Okakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
With God, comfort replaces pain, peace replaces confusion, hope replaces sorrow. God loves you and knows you personally. He hears you and speaks to you in your thoughts, in your heart, and through living prophets. Come, hear the words God has for you. Watch the General Conference on Sunday, 2nd of April.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
The Chillax bundles from Airtel have been upgraded. Introducing Voice Chillax bundles. No validity, no expiry, no worries. Dial *100*1#, select voice bundles and choose your preferred Voice Chillax bundle today. Talk longer with loved ones across Uganda with Voice Chillax bundles that don't expire. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thank you so much for still watching UBC News Tonight. In our business stories, the Financial Service Desk Officer for Operation Wealth Creation, Administrative Finance, Planning and Economic Development, retired Lieutenant Colonel Ronald Luwade has appealed to the people of Busoga to maximize their limited land with profitable income projects in the fight against poverty. Take a look.
During his tour of Busoga sub-region, the head of the Financial Service Desk at Ministry of Finance, retired Lieutenant Colonel Luwade Ronald, held several meetings with farmers and former FRONASA fighters, whom he lectured on the need to avoid land fragmentation and focus on maximization of the land for better agricultural zoning in the fight against poverty.
South Africa. Breeding nungi toka nga president bwagamba ettaka temulitematema mukoleko project kino mbawadde tik banayika 10 project bagiwadde space yayo ne basigaza ne space ekola ku household.
Paul Kavumbi works with Ministry of Finance. He has set up a modern breeding piggery farm that serves as a model farm for the farmers in Busoga. Many of the farmers use his farm for learning best farming practices. This farm that serves as a breeding area in the region sits on a 2-acre piece of land. The farm now boasts of over 80 pigs of South African origin. Besides the already market for pork, Kavumba expressed concern of low demand from farmers for the breed.
Demand ya livestock wabula yokutunda pork nga nabatunda pork akatale kaliwo so woyenda okuexposing era wona akatale kaliwo eno ne kyobulunzi kyonka kyenditi titoba nakyo nolemerwa kukitunda ate nga nebyo bulunzi ebindi ebiri byona bibiri wabula ekirungi kyebisolo bino nti byo tibyetaaga itaka inene.
Despite the low demand for the South African piggery breeds, retired Lieutenant Colonel Luwade appealed to farmers in Busoga to make use of this farm for quality.
Iranzo mulanga gwempa abomu kitundu kino ne Kampala na walala wonna wano waliwo breeder breeding quality pigs for a particular breed.
At the FRONASA offices in Iganga town, the National Chief Whip FRONASA Matovu Ngoma Vianney and Mwidu Masajage and the coordinator of Generation 7 in Busoga sub-region, Tubanone Muzafaru, appealed to President Museveni to give them financial support for their office and income-generating projects.
Now, in our sports stories, the National Basketball League has entered another match day with action at YMCA Wandegea. The menu had 5 games that started with reigning champions Uganda Christian University Ladies Canon 76-24 victory over Kampala University Ladies. Jetty Lady Jaguars then notched the second victory of the day with a 75-24 walloping of Nkomba Marines, while Uganda People's Defence Forces Tomahawks edged Kampala Rockets 63-45. Last season's losing finalist Namuongo Blazers got victory with a 71-62 defeat of JKL Dolphins, while Kampala International University Titans edged Redleaf Saints 74-54. Kampala International University Titans that are looked at to challenge City Oilers were helped to victory by, among others, Collins Kasuja, Saidi Amisi and Innocent Ochera. Thank you so much for watching UBC News Tonight. My name is Sharon Chomjish. Have a blessed Sunday. Please go to church if you may. And for all those that are fasting, happy Ramadan. Continue as well. We love you. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.